to order. Kevin, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Babcock? Mrs. Sweet?
Here.
Mr. Bear? Mr. Whitaker?
Here.
Mr. Avery?
Here.
Mr. Hannah?
Here.
And council does have a quorum. Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. This is the regular session of the Enon Village Council. This is Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. Any additions to our agenda this evening?
Motions to excuse Messrs. Baird and Babcock.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
Any other additions? Let's go into the minutes of the organizational meeting that was held on Tuesday, January 3rd. The meeting was held at 6:30 here at the Government Center. And if council is okay with those minutes, I'd entertain a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
Those minutes are approved as presented. Let's go on to the regular meeting, Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. That should be a 2 right after the date there. We'll correct that. And one other slight correction under guests for that meeting. Please remove Doug Bardinell. That would be right underneath the staff. The only guest present was Mr. Jason Rose. And with those two corrections, a motion and a second to approve.
I'll move that we accept the minutes with the noted changes.
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Whitaker, seconded by Mrs. Sweet. And any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker?
Yes.
Mr. Avery?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
And those minutes are approved with the noted edits. Financial report, there is not a whole lot on these reports. There's mostly zeros. So I'm not going to go page by page. I will read the current balances. General fund, 119,000. Street construction, 63. ARPA, 135,000. Police levy, 226. Water operating, 254, and contingency, 110. Total of all funds, $823,320.12. And again, we've had very little expenditures and very little receipts, if any. So at the next meeting in February, we will have all of January's totals for those to be approved. Chief, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Let me go. We hired Thomas Schaefer. He came to us from the Clark County Park District and Premier Health. He's a graduate of the Clark State Police Academy. He's got a couple years on over at the Clark County Park District, and he's came here January 9th, and we're going to do his official swear-in here tonight. So,
Chief, you want to come on?
I was.
Trying to stall.
You'd like to come up? Yeah. Oh, great. Okay. Thanks. You're welcome to get somebody to shoot some pictures for you if you want.
Oh, I'm fine where I am.
Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Camera shy.
And raise your right hand. You're going to repeat after me. I, Thomas Schaefer,
I, Thomas Schaefer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
the codified ordinances
the codified ordinances
of the Village of Enon,
of the Village of Enon,
and will faithfully,
and will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of police officer
of police officer
for the village of Enon,
for the village of Enon,
Clark County, Ohio.
Clark County, Ohio.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Again.
And like I said, welcome.
Carpal and elbow surgery.
Congratulations, Thomas.
A couple items of communication. I received a letter from Columbia Gas of Ohio. They have filed an application with the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio for infrastructure. They call it infrastructure investments. Bottom line is this could mean potentially a rider being placed on gas bills of up to $10 for like general service customers. For larger service, a surcharge of up to 25%. So just kind of a heads up on that. I have no idea how long that process takes, but I did want to pass that along. One other item to note, I was talking to Maxine McKee here just a little bit ago. 45 years ago, tomorrow, the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th, think about what you were doing. Those of us that were in the EMS business, we were dealing with a blizzard, the blizzard of '78. You weren't born yet.
I was.
Okay.
No, he wasn't.
So the older people, yep, you remember. Younger people, not so much. But in any case, I just wanted a little fun fact to bring to the attention and all the things that we had to go through to get people to the hospital and render aid, and still very alive in our memories. So
I just have one thing to say. Gil Whitney.
absolutely.
Thank
there you
you.
go.
I was
Bill
there.
Whitney.
I was there.
Yep.
You gotta use horses to pull the,
Sometimes.
ambulances and
Yeah.
stuff?
Okay, I was in California. You want to explain that one to me?
It'll take a while after the
Okay.
meeting.
Afterwards, okay.
I've heard of that, but I don't remember it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go into staff reports, and I'll turn it over to you, Kevin. Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, residents. Item number one on my report there, Jason, the water superintendent, he has applied for a Ohio EPA grant for $10,000 for some pipe locating equipment and leak detection equipment. We did send that in here 2 days ago, so hopefully within a couple weeks we'll know if that's going to come our way or not. We did that because we're always kind of borrowing, nothing wrong with that, but we're always kind of borrowing the townships or the counties or sometimes even Fairborn, you know, but, and we all work together great, but we thought, well, it'd be kind of nice to have some of that stuff on our own, so. So I will let you know, keep you updated on that. Records Commission meeting is scheduled for February 28th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers.
Paul Kavanaugh has confirmed that he will be at that meeting, and then he will stick around and meet council, reintroduce himself to some of you, and those of you that have never met him, you'll get a chance to do that. So.
The backhoe, we've had, give you an update on that. We had it down to a Big Rig shop, and as of today, he's putting it back together. I have not heard anything from him where we needed any additional parts or pieces other than, you know, what we talked about earlier, the head, new head gasket, things like that. So I was told today that he's putting it back together, so hopefully by the end of the week, we should have it back in our possession, so.
And we need to send our thanks, and I know we already do this, to the township for helping us out with loading our vehicles with the salt,
Salt
obviously,
truck, yeah.
because I know they've been helping us out with that.
Government Center update. Well, as you see, drywall's still not installed, but good news, the plumber came today and started taking the bathrooms apart to get prepped for the drywaller. The drywaller was here this afternoon, kind of trimming up some areas, kind of prepping for him. He was hoping to get in here tomorrow with a couple guys to start the drywall work. So when we had the estimator in here from the construction, or the contractor in here, he said that it was our lucky day because they had some openings that they could get in here right away. So hopefully tomorrow they'll be here. He said it'd be a good day to work, with the pending weather that's supposedly coming. So we'll see. But so once they get in here, it shouldn't take them long, they said, and then after that they'll get it all finished off, and once it's painted, then the plumber will come back and hang all the stuff in the bathroom and things like that. So
And just real quick, on the plumbing issue that caused this, Kevin, you and Jason were able to get, was it Roger Store Plumbing to come in?
Roger Store Plumbing.
They've
and-
taken that water line out of the ceiling. They have corrected that original problem, that little valve that was supposed to keep that trap, and they've replaced it with something else. It's all up to code, but there's
right.
no more water line that's running in that ceiling.
Right,
So I
correct.
appreciate you
They
guys.
brought it down into the wall. That way, if we had to get to it, we were able
And
to get
we
to
don't
it.
have to worry about that particular
Right.
situation anymore.
Right.
Thank you.
Once the drywall and everything gets done, this carpet is getting replaced, as well as the conference room. All the offices will have the hardwood floor like we got in our office now. We did get that through the insurance as well. So this room will have new carpet.
And this is
will be
original.
the only. Yeah, this is the original. Whenever
Yeah.
it was built, over 20 years ago, probably. So
98, 99.
so-
Acoustics, is that gonna mess up the acoustics, thinking about it now with, being in here?
No, shouldn't. Not at all. With carpet? No.
No, you said wood floor.
No, this is the only room that's going to have
Oh,
carpet
okay.
in it. Yeah,
Sorry, misunderstood.
yeah. But yeah, if it was the linoleum or the like we got in the offices, yeah, it would. We'd have to do something with put some sound
Misunderstood.
panels on the wall or something. But he'll be fine. Yep. Farmland bids. I did talk to Todd Pettit from the township, and they had their discussion about awarding this farm bid. They agreed amongst themselves to go with LA Farms out of South Charleston, Ohio. LA Farms came in with a bid at $318.01 per acre. So that is my suggestion for council too, is to go with that.
And we would need a motion and a second to approve that bid, if that's a desire of council.
Make the motion that we use LA Farms for the, farming cooperative with the township on Enon Road.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Hannah, seconded by Mrs. Swee. Is there any other discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
Yes. One quick remark, I know that the bids came in considerably over what we expected they would be, so it was a win-win for the township and the village.
Were the other bids relatively close? I never saw the bids.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. The current farmer, Craig Grimm, he came in at $180 an acre. LA Farms was $318.01. Howard Brentlinger came in at $225, and Justin Leggy
Leg.
came in at $265.
So we did pick the highest, but he also had the best recommendation to us too.
Okay.
I think that's all I have for now.
Okay, good
Thank
deal.
you.
Any questions for our administrator? Okay, Chief, good evening.
Evening, Mayor, Council, residents. In front of you, I've got the best I could do on an annual report for us. Not going to read through it all to give you some highlights. Just a little, lost 2 full-time officers and a part-time officer in 2022. Sick time usage, a little higher than we normally are, but that was due to one particular officer that they no longer employed here, so hopefully that'll feather out next year. We met all of our training. We had Officer McHenry complete the 40 hours of critical incident training, CIT, which is dealing with mental health and So it's actually, we try to send everybody to that. It's a great training offered by mental health, and the training is free. Of course, it's got to send the officer, but it's a good tool to have in this trait. And then Officer Dunham completed her 40-hour school resource officer training. Is officially an SRO. So that's good. Over and above training from our normal, just regular CPTs and stuff. I will say I got a letter from the Attorney General, an email. They will have CPT continued professional training in 2023, focusing, I believe, 16 hours on school safety, and then the other 24 was going to be choice of agency. So we'll, instead of getting the funds, though, in advance like we did in 2022, they will release those funds. It will be a reimbursement rather than a prepayment. So, because figuring those out at the deadline was a little interesting, because you had to make sure that the officer was still employed with you, and then when they completed it and all that, if not. So, but at any rate, they originally had said they were not going to do that. The nice thing about that is we get training for our officers on the dime of somebody else, I guess is the best way to word that. Just some highlights. We did purchase new uppers for all our patrol rifles. Those uppers were the suppressed shorter barrel rifle, which significantly decreases the decibel rating. So should an officer need to use the patrol rifle, it hopefully would decrease on any BWC claims or anything because of the reduced sound. And I know from obviously using them this year just in qualifications, that sound is significantly reduced. So appreciate that. Also, council approved a significant wage increase for patrol officers, which I think was nice. The officers appreciated it, and it was very helpful. And then, of course, 7-Eleven donated some furniture. And when I say furniture, I mean some of their older desks, but also some vertical filing cabinets that are very costly, and we needed them down there. And the fact that they were able to just provide them to us at no cost was a huge savings and super helpful. Much appreciated. And then folks have any questions on that or anything, feel free to get with me.
Mike, on the recertification every year, how many hours does an officer need through OPATA?
Well, when they make you do it, when they mandate it like they have the last 2 years, 24, and it is in certain areas that they require. And
Is that over a 1 year period or 2 year?
It is in a 1 year.
Okay.
And should the officer, if officers did not complete that, they would suspend their certification, and they would not have arrest powers.
Is most of that online, or is it in person, or do some of these classes that you guys go to count for credit, if you will, that they look at?
The ones that they mandate, for example, like use of force, but so like the mental health, and it just, no, they have a particular structure. Anything that you do outside of it, like for example, I'm an instructor, I could do it, but I would have to write the curriculum, send it to them, get their blessing on it. So they do a lot of online, but it's not like online back. If any of you are familiar with it, it's not that online where you're like, oh, I'm going through an online training. It's very interactive. There are tests, and it's actually, it's very good. Okay. Very good. But a lot of it was completed online, but you can do it in person. But the online, honestly, is top notch. Very good reviews, domestic violence updates, things like that. So it was all good curriculum, and when we go to the chiefs meetings and stuff, they actually listen to law enforcement agencies, and they do take that into account. And most of the training that was mandated was all of what we all felt that.
So they tailor from feedback.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, and then next year, like I said, they are mandating it again. They only ever mandate it if they're going to reimburse you, and if they can't afford to reimburse you, they don't ever mandate it. It's always recommended, which we always are part of our officers' annual stuff. Like, for example, I'm always like, hey, you need to do go out on your own and get some of the EOPATA training, and they all do it. They're all fine.
Okay. So thank you.
Yeah. I'll skip here a little bit. I attended our annual cyber fraud task force for the United States Secret Service meeting. They have one annually. Today it was held over on the other side of Columbus, but it was really nice to just kind of get back out in a group because we had one last year, but we hadn't had one for a couple of years. But they did extend their gratitude and their thanks to all the agencies involved with that, which we are. They, obviously they can't do a lot. They rely on us heavily as they rely on us every 4 years when they have election stuff. So they just said that they like to give back that way, and that's how they give back to agencies. But we're saying thanks to everybody. So I just wanted to thank the village for allowing us to do that, and it's nice to have that working relationship. I emailed out the quote from PNR to council. That was the build for the 2022 Dodge SUV. I had a quote in December, but it was a little short-lived, so I reached out to Ryan down at PNR and asked him to give me an updated quote. I know I had asked for approval to do it, but I just wanted to, just let council know that the price that we had, the $15,999, that is front to back everything, other than the striping from Yipes and Stripe. That would put it road ready.
And when we talked the other day, that was close to what you had anticipated.
Yeah,
Right, yeah,
actually,
so-
I will tell you, in the original quote, we didn't have a holder for the laptops, a docking station, and it didn't include the particular light bar that's on here. Federal Signal was nice enough to really cushion the price on the light bar, so we could have kind of like state of the art to match everything else. And yes, it was good. In fact, from the original one, it only went up $500, and we added the cradle for the laptop, and I can't imagine that was a couple $100. So they were nice.
Good.
I didn't go anywhere else because PNR or Montgomery County has built our previous cars, and it's just what we do. So unless anybody has any objections, I'll move forward with that. Once I get it striped, I want to wait till we get it striped. That way we don't get any dings on that vinyl or anything, because you got to put light bars on and all that. But I'm hurrying up as quick as I can and just waiting on everybody else. And, things are going good. I'll try to. Let's see here. The 2012 Dodge Charger, obviously, I just wanted to get council's approval if we go ahead once they get it all, hopefully soon when we don't have a bunch of snow and rain flying around, get that thing, everything taken out of it, and we'll go ahead and get that thrown up on the auction block and get that out of here and off the inventory.
Big bucks.
I'm hoping. I did ask some auto places. They said maybe $5,000. I'm like, okay, we'll see, but we'll hope it'll be nice. Anything's better than nothing. We change our oil and maintain our vehicles. I'll say that.
Right now, it's running well. Right now, it's running.
Are you asking or telling? Because if you're asking, yeah. So the check engine light did come on, and evidently there's something wrong with. I don't know if it was some valve or sensor or something. But I did not fix that. But yeah,
Okay.
It does run well. Okay. I want to thank Street Department. The last snowstorm we had, or snow thing it came through, did a fantastic job Sunday clearing that parking lot out. Much appreciated.
Did they get it all done?
They
this
got
time? Okay.
everything salted. It was good work. I was proud. Hopefully tomorrow we don't get too much. Short of that, I just thank Thomas Schaefer for coming on board, and that's all I have, sir.
Thanks, Chief. Questions for our chief this evening?
When do you anticipate the Durango to be in service?
Good question. So 2 weeks ago, I had asked for a quote on the vinyl. I don't know how long that's going to take. As soon as he gets me a price, I'll probably reach out here, honestly, at the end of the week. I haven't heard anything from him. I'm not super versed in this, but I would say how quick they get the parts in. I would say by March, I would hope, but honestly, it's waiting on parts. I know once they get the parts in and get it moving, it goes pretty quick, but that's what we're waiting on.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to have PNR get this. PNR will be pretty quick, but the striping takes a minute because they're pretty busy. But hopefully within the next month.
PNR had a lot of cars down there this past weekend, so.
Yeah, and I would tell you, based off some of the ordering from the Ford, I think we might in the future, which we're pretty good, but I have a feeling that we might not be doing Ford SUVs for at least the next 2 years, I would say, or 3, because they're 32, 34 months out still, from what I'm still hearing. I don't know how we plan on that. I just
Do the best we
We've
can.
also talked about in the long run, trying to get our cars covered. It'd be nice to maybe start looking to see what we could do as far as to try to provide some protection for these cruisers.
That would make a
I agree.
significant difference, but, I mean, yeah, hopefully.
Any other questions for our chief? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
We have no committee reports unless somebody has something to add in. Let's go to the old business. Item number 2 on the policy manual, because we do not have 5 members to suspend the 3 reading rule. That one will be postponed till our next meeting. But appointment of board members, you should have a sheet the staff, Christie and Kevin, put together for appointments. And the way this is laid out, and again, this is entirely up to council, but they just went ahead and laid it out in what looked like the best order, and dependent on what kind of feedback they got from current members. But Mr. Beard would stay as president of the BZA. Lori Pettit would stay on. Tammy Collins would stay on. And the alternate, number 1 on the BZA, Kathleen Baber, she would move down to that spot for the Planning Commission that was vacated by Jerry Bennett. So the number 2 alternate for BZA, Mr. John Young, he would just move over to the number 1 alternate spot. And then Mr. Wazak would be reappointed to the Planning Commission. So we're just using the people that we had based upon the conversation from the last meeting, and that would just leave us with 1 vacancy, and that would be alternate number 2 for the BZA. And if this is okay for the council, I'd accept a motion and a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitaker, seconded by Mrs. Sweet. And any other comments or discussion?
Are we going to advertise for the BZA, the other alternate?
I think it makes sense to do that and just go ahead and put it out there to see what kind of interest.
Right.
So, and it's not going to be critical, but it would be nice to have both of those spots filled.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mrs. Sweet,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Avery,
Yes.
Mr. Hannah.
Yes.
Those appointments have been confirmed, and Kevin, if you would please, let's go ahead and get something out for accepting applications for that number 2 spot on the BZA.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you very much. We have no new business, no executive session. Comments from the public? Anybody? Nobody?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. Good evening. Thank you for coming.
6:57.